Sometimes for tax purposes, it's quite useful to be able to calculate the depreciation value of an item, a vehicle possibly. If I were to buy a car for $10,000, look to keep it for 5 years, and then sell it at the end of those 5 years, it might possibly fetch $2,000. So between me buying the car and the car being sold for $2,000, I've lost $8,000. However, that $8,000 is not lost in a linear basis, i.e. it's not just 8,000 divided by 5. The depreciation of the vehicle drops each year. It drops quite high, then a bit more, then a bit more, then a bit more. Now there is in Excel a depreciation function that will calculate that depreciation year on year for you to then possibly use those figures in your tax return. So if we want to take our vehicle as an example here, I'm going to buy it for 10,000, I'm going to sell it for 2,000. Obviously that's speculation at this stage, but it can be worked out. There are plenty of guides on the internet or books to work out how much a vehicle is worth at the end of its useful life. And then we can calculate below here how much each year's depreciation will be. If I place 1 to 5 down here, I can then calculate how much has been lost in year 1, how much has been lost in year 2, year 3, year 4, and the 5th year, for example. Function is dB. How short can you get? Equals dB. This will return the depreciation value of an item. So our first variable is the cost. So that's our initial cost there, comma. Salvage is the value of the item at the end of its life, referred to as salvage, 2,000. Obviously this doesn't have to be a vehicle, it could be a piece of plant or a machine, comma. What's the active life of the item? Well, that's that cell there, 5 years. And which period are you looking to find the return value for? Well, that's that cell there, because I'm trying to find how much it will lose in year 1, and then year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, etc. Now the last part here, month, is an optional item, and it's used if the first year, for example, has less than 12 months in it. So maybe for tax purposes, you buy this vehicle partway through the year, and you're only looking to work out the depreciation for those 6 months. If, however, your first year is a full year, full 12 months, then you can leave that value empty. So we could close that formula there, return, and in year 1, our vehicle will lose $2,750 in depreciation. In the first year, it will drop quite dramatically in value. Now, if I want to then use this formula and just drag this down, I will need to first make a couple of these cell references absolute. So I need to absolute the initial cost, absolute the salvage cost, and absolute the years, as in the lifespan, but not the last one, the period, because that one I want to change as I come down the list. And we can then see in year 1 it loses 27, then 193, 14, just over 1,000, and then 759 in its final year. So each of these formulas is looking at the same initial and final values, the same lifespan, but a different period. So this is looking at the last year, this is looking at the 4th, 3rd, the 2nd, and the 1st year. So you can see the depreciation. If you then decide, well, let's go for a better car, twice as good, 20,000 car that might be worth 3,750 at the end of its 5 years, and it will calculate the depreciation of that vehicle. You might decide to recalculate what a vehicle is worth, deciding that you're going to put actually a lot of miles on there, and this vehicle's only actually going to bring us in 2,000. And you can see the depreciation values then increase dramatically. It may even be at the end of 5 years that you will get nothing back for that vehicle. And you can see there that because of the way the formula works, it's written everything off in the first year, which is not really quite correct. So we need to put at least a nominal value in there, $10. And then you can see how the depreciation drops. Although it's possibly not an exact science, it is a way of calculating depreciation, and then you can use these values in any tax write-offs. When the taxman asks, where did you get that value from? You can say, I use this particular formula to calculate it. At the end of the day, that still will only add up to the 20,000 minus the $10, because that's the values you've lost. The only thing you're working out is which year to write the values off in.